All right, so let's get into it. So supply and demand is designed to describe how goods are bought and sold in markets. What is a good? A good is anything that you can buy and sell, basically. Anything tangible, like, an object that you might buy in a store, or it could also be service. If you get a pedicure, that is a good that you are buying. Somebody waiting tables at a restaurant, that's a good. Really, anything that you can buy and sell is a good. So we're going to examine the market for goods. Right? We want to know how people buy and sell goods. And we're going to do this by looking at two different sides of the market, which you can probably guess what they're going to be. We have the buyers on the demand side of the market. These are the people who purchase the good. And then we have the sellers on the producer side of the market, or the supply side of the market, who produce and or sell the good. So now we got two different kinds of people. They're doing two different kinds of things. They're making two different kinds of decisions. These people are deciding whether or not to buy something, and how they're going to respond to the price for that thing. These people are deciding whether or not to sell something, and how they make those decisions. So if we can figure out how these people make this decision and how these people make their decision, we're going to have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the whole market. So let's talk about the buyers first on the consumer side, or on the demand side, however you want to call it. So a buyer or consumer is anybody who is in the market for purchasing a good. Okay? They would think about it. They would buy the thing if the situation was right. They have what is called a marginal benefit from buying the unit. This goes back to what we did last week. We're going to put all those pens together. The marginal benefit. It's the benefit from having one more versus one less, right? So to give you an example, thinking back to last week, we made those tables, all the benefits and costs. We can do that here. Let's say we're talking about buying chairs for your dining room table, right? So you can either get 3 chairs or 4 chairs. What are the benefits? We'll leave out the cost for a second, just look at the benefits. So let's say that we would value having 3 chairs for our table at, $60. But with 4 chairs, you finally get the full set. Your table doesn't look weird anymore because you only got 3 chairs. Let's put that at 110. All right. So what is the marginal benefit of that 4th chair? Well, at 3 chairs, I only had 60 benefit. At 4 chairs, I got 110 benefit. So my marginal benefit, or MB, is 110 minus 60, or 50. By buying that 4th chair, I become $50 better off. Forget about what I spent on the chair for right now, just how much better do I feel about the fact that I have 4 chairs rather than 3. Now I've done this for 3 and 4 chairs, but you could easily do, 2 chairs, 1 chair, no chairs. You could go more, you could go 5 chairs, 6 chairs, 7 chairs, whatever it is, right? The basic idea though, is that every time we get 1 more unit, we get a marginal benefit. How much better off are we with this amount as opposed to having 1 less? All right. So they get a marginal benefit. This tells them how much better off they are by getting 1 more unit. Now, what's their decision going to be? In order for them to figure out, well, how many chairs do I actually want to buy? Well, they're going to do exactly what we did last week. They're going to use the cost benefit principle. So we've got the benefits here. What if we put in the costs? Right? Well, what's the price of a chair? Let's say we're talking about $40 chairs. Now, yeah, $40 chairs. So what's the cost? If I get 3 chairs, that's going to be 3 times 40, right? Because I spent $40 each. 3 chairs is that much. If I get 4 chairs, 4 times 40. Now I have benefits. I got costs of 3 versus 4 chairs. I'm not going to calculate out the economic surplus, but we did it all last week. You know how to do it, right? And the idea is that by calculating this out, I can figure out, is 4 chairs going to be a better idea for me, or should I stick with 3, right? Comparing these 2 alternatives, which one's the better option? We know that by figuring out the economic surplus. So what does this say? Why am I doing all this? Because by thinking through what my marginal benefit is, how much my benefits went up by, and how much my cost went up by getting another chair, that's going to tell me how many chairs I want to buy. I've just described how this person decides to buy chairs, right? They're going to think about the price. Price comes in on the costs here. They're going to think about the benefits. How much better off do I feel with another chair? And their decision of whether to buy another chair is going to be based on that economic surplus comparison. Now we know how the demand side works. That's it. That's literally it. Everything else that we're going to do in this class related to supply and demand on the demand side is going to basically be this idea, just sort of, with different levels of abstraction on top of it to make it simple. Because we don't have to actually calculate this out, for millions of different people for a whole market. So we're going to be simplify a little bit. But that's what's going on, right? It's just this economic surplus calculation aggregated over a bunch of people, over a bunch of chairs, over a bunch of everything else too.